Greetings and salutations. we back. Yeah, and so Jizzy G here.
Valley.
And this week we have some guest hosts because Dubs is no longer in the building.
I wish Dubs was here.
Well, we wish so too. But, we have other matters to attend to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dubs
so,
is vibesy.
Well, introduce yourself.
My name is Ashanna, last name Arthur.
And we have two other folks, returning members. They're pushing hard. They really want to become hosts, permanent hosts. You tell them, take it easy, fellas.
We try to represent for Tobago every night now.
So nice you do it twice.
Yeah.
So Piggylou and Scully back in the house.
Yeah. The farm don't talk enough about Tobago now, so they come to discuss Tobago affairs.
Yes.
Don't tell you that, sir.
Chief Sec. and
MP for Tobago West.
Yeah.
Anyway, all jokes aside, free alcohol will get us to do a lot of things. So free alcohol.
I
Nice.
wonder how long this thing went and stay free, boy. I was like, we gotta talk.
But talking about alcohol, what we have?
Well, you know what we do? This week we say we're doing something for the ladies. So fellas take note. Yeah.
Nice.
They say this thing named after a man called Bailey.
Donovan Bailey?
I doubt it.
Is that an athlete?
Yes,
Just making sure.
Yeah,
Admiral Bailey.
And it's creamy. They ask everybody loves cream. So we have Bailey's Espresso Creme and Bailey's Original. So,
I
fellas,
just need to make sure there's enough of this in here for my refill.
share.
Just a long time ago.
On the rocks, right? I don't think it's
I call that people. Only deal with the coffee espresso on the next side.
Alright, so we have people who favor the original and we have some who prefer the bold, dark roast coffee aroma with the taste of fresh ground espresso beans on top of the Irish cream.
That sponsorship coming in next episode. That sponsorship coming in quick.
Who's the distributor for Bailey's? Brightons. Check we. So fellas, cheers. Fellas and ladies.
Wait, vibes.
Rum Club.
Vibes.
So how you feel after you take every drink you must say?
This kind of drink. Very tasty, man.
Alright, so folks, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and iTunes at Rum Club. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I think we're on SoundCloud too.
We're on SoundCloud too.
Yeah.
We're everywhere.
We're all
You can
over,
find
all
us
over.
everywhere.
Ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Yeah? Big words.
Something like off my hand shape.
But let's kick things off. So this afternoon we are lucky to be graced with the presence of Miss Arthur. And I understand that Ashanna, but anyway, what's Ashanna mean?
Well, we're not really sure. We look it up, we didn't really find it. But ever since my mother said it means love, and that's the story we've been peddling for a while. So that's what we're going with.
We buy it.
That's what we're going with.
Love. Anything else? Love.
We all about love in this place.
Africa? Origin?
I'm not even sure. I try to find it. I don't find. What I always find is Ashanti, which is very close to it, but it's not the same. So I don't know if it's a derivative. I don't
So
know.
Ayana, Adana,
It could be,
Ashanna.
I don't know.
Yeah, Afro.
A version of Ayana.
I don't think it's. I think it's more from well, whenever I look it up, I more get references to things like Ashanti and stuff more than Ayana.
Okay.
So I don't know, but
It's a really nice name.
We
You know,
go
once a
with
name
love.
starts with A, I mean, it's beautiful. I'm just watching you here.
No bias.
honestly,
No
I
bias.
can't even fault you on that one. I can't even fault you on your reasoning. I
For
see
those
where
of
you're
you
going.
who don't know, Piggylou real name is Adande, right?
Oh gosh.
And African song into it, African? Wait,
West African.
Oh, West African to be
The
precise.
challenger.
The challenger.
Yes, the challenger.
Really? You don't look challenging to me at all.
Oh gosh. So the beautiful Ashanna Arthur is here to talk a little bit about her experience as Miss Trinidad and Tobago World.
Right.
2009.
Right.
2009.
Yeah.
But
Basically, we're saying that Trinidad and Tobago has been blessed to have 3 beauty queens. 3 internationally recognized winners.
Yeah.
Yes. So we had Janelle Penny Commission, we had Gisela Ron, and we had Wendy Fitzwilliam.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
But not
I really
only,
wish I could have been the fourth one. Struggles.
but it's not only about Trinidad and Tobago's beauty queens, but really the Caribbean beautiful and really intelligent women.
That's true.
So,
Truth.
and Ashanna is also a representation of that.
Caribbean.
You know?
Oh my God!
That's nice, value.
I feel it now.
Yeah.
I feel it now. He never picked me up.
So much value. What kind of thing is that?
I told him.
I'm sorry, can I interject? Can you just say again what were the attributes? I'm sorry, I didn't. No, just say it again, because I didn't hear. It was smart and beautiful.
Intelligent and beautiful.
Intelligent, beautiful. Just those two?
Dynamic.
Dynamic. Okay. Just wanted to.
And if you've heard these things so many times, Ashanna, I'm certain.
Caribbean beauty.
You know, it's one of those things that never gets old. It's one of those things that you could never hear enough.
Yes.
Here. And in the face of all the misogyny.
No, that's...
We ain't going there. Right. So, Ashanna, tell us, what led you to, how you into this thing?
Oh my gosh, you know, it's so interesting. I had no idea that this is where this was going tonight. Like, I came, I thought we were just going to be liming, and now I'm on the spot, but I'm ready, I can do it. So, how did I get into this thing? Well, it started when I was about...
5 years old?
No, not so young. I was about 12 or 13. And it was very interesting, actually, because after that moment, after I went up, I actually realized that what the moment that was the impetus for me that sparked the desire in me to do that, I actually realized that moment happened for other people as well. And I'll go into the moment it was. I was home, I'm 1999. I think that was when Wendy won, or 98 actually. And I was...
When Wendy won?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was home. I think I was somewhere between 11 and 13.
Well, let's stop trying to calculate the girl age.
I remember it was a very significant moment for me. Not like time stopped, but it just was a very impactful moment. The moment that she won, and you just felt like the whole energy of the country was different. I remember the day after when we went to school, just everybody was just... I was like the whole country was just engulfed in this euphoria.
Right.
And I just had this feeling that I wanted to have the same impact on the country. I know that's strange, but that's what happened.
So Wendy was an inspiration.
And then so it became a dream for me from that moment.
Okay.
Nice.
So so from 12 till early 20s.
Yeah, and then when I went up, I was 21.
Okay.
So it was a long time. And actually, in between there, when I first decided I wanted to do it, I had a lot of doubts. Like, I don't know if I really... It's like I wanted to, but I don't know if I believed that I could achieve it.
Okay.
So it was something that I was thinking about for a very long time, and I really had to build that confidence over time to feel like I'm gonna, not just that I want it, but I'm gonna be bold enough to go for it.
Okay, so you're 12 and you're sitting at home looking at this thing on TV, and they say Miss Trinidad and Tobago, and the whole country is a buzz.
Yeah.
And that ignited this burning desire for you to have a similar type impact on the country.
Yes.
But 10 years pass, and what are you doing in those?
Well, I was going to school. I didn't drop out of school and enroll in beauty pageant school in
Well, no, that's what I want to know. Like, did you say, okay, mommy, I want to be that? And mommy said, okay, Ashanna, in order to do this, these are the things that you have to do.
I stayed in school. I can't remember if I actually ever said that to her. Okay. I don't know if I ever verbalized that to her.
Right, okay.
I told my friend. I think I told like one friend. And I remember when I was like 18 or 19 too, I told my boyfriend at the time, and he basically said, huh?
You had boyfriend already?
At 18? You find I was too young? 19? I was like 19.
No, man.
Yes, Papa.
You serious?
children.
Yeah, wait till it's 32. First boyfriend. Where you coming from? 18?
You seem 32.
Man.
When the eggs are to dry up, like, you have like 3 more years. Just get everything done at one time.
Exactly. Take your time.
So your boyfriend at the time?
I remember when it was when I was 19 or something. Because I don't remember, I don't know if I made that known in a widespread way that was a dream that I had. I told one friend, I remember, when I was young. When I was like 19, I had a boyfriend, and I remember I told him. And I can't remember exactly what he said, but basically the conclusion was that he didn't think I was capable or that I would win.
Okay.
Yes.
Why? What kind of
boyfriend is
that?
that? Where is the support?
No. Oh God, we was young, Ole, we was young.
The man was insecure.
Ole,
He
we
was
was young.
ashamed for the world to see. That's what
We
it
was
was.
young,
But
guys.
take care, beautiful.
We was young. But there was something about remember one of the things he said was it was about my hair, because my hair was natural at that point.
What represent for the naturals?
Nice.
Well, I mean, but when I went up, my hair was straight.
Okay.
But at that time, my hair was natural, and he was like, and I guess in his mind, he's never seen that image
Yeah.
before in that role. So, from his perspective, he's like, well, if you look like that, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, but
Gotcha. Which he was probably right, because, you know.
at that point in time, I think,
Yeah, the world has come a long way, but and we still have a ways to go with, you know, shaping opinions and attitudes.
See,
about-
this is a topic that you said.
But I see of late, these pageants, the people who standing out are the ones who most looking natural, the darker woman, the African
I
woman.
know
getting
which-
a
I
little
know
forward
which
and
pageants
thing
you
now. No, serious. You see them standing out, they're making the top
Well,
10.
they stand
Back
out
in the
for
day,
you.
no, back in the day, them wasn't even making top 10.
But, well, yes,
Them
you
wasn't
have
even
a
making the
point.
final cuts.
Because there's always been Venezuela, not Venezuela,
India.
Mexico.
Venezuela too.
Venezuela too.
What is it? Miss USA.
Mexico, USA, I could come.
Yeah, but Congo, Nigeria, them kind of places there, you now seeing them transforming into it now. You seen people, I don't believe, I mean, when I look in the TV and thing, I seen this black woman and getting all that forward from the crowd. Them know what they're looking at, but I don't know what it is, but I find of late, seeing the African woman, dark skin, natural head, getting her forward. Or you ain't agree with me?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I actually haven't been paying attention so much in the
Recent
what's the word I'm looking for? The
progression.
I've been paying so much in the progressions. I can't really say I've been analyzing it so much, but
Yeah, I find the support you're getting from the crowd,
yeah.
I seen it. I now realizing that these African women getting that forward.
Right.
But before it was always straight here, tall, light skinned women. Those were the crowd screaming and yelling for, but not the African beauties now, man.
But it's interesting actually that you mentioned that Wendy was an inspiration to you.
Yeah.
Because I remember clearly, I was in college at the time, giving my age a little bit. I remember looking at this thing with a Kenyan roommate of mine, and it was coming down to the
You
wire.
were in Trinidad?
I was
somewhere else?
abroad in college, and a Kenyan roommate of mine watching this. And towards then, he got up and he left. I see what Miss Trinidad and Tobago is making it. He said, "But look at her. The black woman will never win this thing."
Yeah.
And he got
See what I'm
up
saying?
and he went to bed. So when she won, I was like, "Dude, you wouldn't believe you won." He's like, "No, you lied." So it kind of just passed through my mind, but I never thought of the impression that would have a young black woman in this country. So it's interesting to hear you talk about how that inspired you to even
I'm
think
not
about
And
it.
sure-
perhaps young black women, the world.
In the world over.
I'm
Yes.
not sure if for me it was so much a black thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
It's a
sure.
nationalistic
I
thing.
think it was, I mean, maybe if I go to a psychotherapist and I go under the layers, it might have a black thing there. But
Yeah.
to me, the more prominent thing was more about the country and representing the country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just
So
to
far,
just interject a second, I saw Wendy actually last week at One Book Place, and me, I can see anybody and I'm normal, but I don't know what happened that day. Wendy had on this big brim sun hat, so it's kind of over her face. She had making on her face. She was down on her phone, and she walked past me. And I just realized it was Wendy. I turned around and said, "Wendy?" She turned around and she said, "Yes."
Wendy Rainfall.
And I froze. I don't know what happened. That never happened to me before.
You get caught up.
Yeah.
You get caught up in the Wendy. You get caught up in the Wendy.
And I remember 1 year in Barbados, and if you were there
Yeah, I was there.
Boat ride.
Yeah.
boat ride and booze cruise.
Yeah.
And Wendy was there. Wendy said, I said 2 piece. Wendy jump off the boat, take a swim, come back out, she's a 2 piece. I talked to Wendy. Wendy gave me a little dance. Later I see her.
Yeah.
You know, after booze cruise, it's have a little lime on the thing.
boat,
I see
yeah.
Wendy, the vibes. I would never forget that.
She's a down
She went
home
down
girl.
there?
I mean, I went to school with Wendy, so I am again with my age. I was a couple years below her. And I have to say, coming up through school, you know, sometimes you'd have fashion shows at school and so on, and she would be one of the models and so on. But I mean, clearly remember convent, St. John's Convent, Port of Spain, there was a bench outside of the sixth form area that faced Pembroke Street and St. Mary's, where a lot of us would sit and wait for our parents. And I mean, countless afternoons just sitting down right there on the bench and everybody all talking, waiting for their parents. Your parents come and you pick up your bags and you go. She's also a Diego Martin girl. But all of this to say that throughout school she always had a presence. A certain presence.
We love you, Wendy.
Right? So that it's not surprising to me that you would pass her by, her face partially obscured, but you do a double take because, you know, I guess she's
very
height and how she carries herself and everything.
I get starstruck.
She could do
You
that.
can see how I get starstruck.
Well, I learned something here. Is realize that like sports, in order to be good at something, you started very young. I didn't know beauty pageant was like that too. You had it from young time. From long time, I don't know, it was just this beautiful woman after the street.
You just get up a day and say, see me again win, yes?
No, so
But I
you
think
started off saying 12
Trinidad
years old.
is a little bit mellow though. Like when you get to
Not as
Venezuela,
competitive.
Yeah, they are schools.
yeah,
Colombia,
they are on a
select people.
different level, papi.
Abba.
Ooh, that's a different
Yeah.
zone.
My partner, he talking about Colombia, but he said, But right now he fed up with them Trinidad girl and them girl and them ain't giving them no forward. So he's spending money and fly down and go Colombia and
Okay, moving along. Because you see this conversation, I ain't like where it's going.
No, but bring it back to
Where you
the
going?
Miss World section.
No,
and
you were
stuff.
saying if
He's saying that there's a village in Colombia where most of the Miss Worlds and stuff came from.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I thought you was
And
going a different.
He's actually going to those locations. But when he go there, he realized that some of the women, they kind of discard them because of blemishes and stuff on their skin,
Right.
moles, those kind of
Ridiculous.
stuff. I didn't know it was that serious.
it's
you know?
intense.
Is it that
intense.
serious?
It's different.
In certain
it's
countries,
different. It's different.
where there's a lot of equity that a country could get from having a Miss Universe or a Miss World.
Yeah.
You know, tourism, just opportunities for investment, that kind of thing. So
Okay, I really didn't know it was that serious in a way. You just, but you can't make it because you have a mole.
It's intense.
Well, I know it's something like when they had the Olympics in China. You all ever heard? I don't know if it was a rumor, if it was the truth. But the lady who sang the national anthem,
Yeah.
the person who they had in the forefront was actually lip
Lip
syncing.
syncing.
Because
The
the
real
Chinese
person
found the real person who
it's
could
not attractive enough.
she was not attractive enough. So
When
they
what
had her in
year
the
was that
background.
in?
When they had the
Beijing.
Olympics in China,
It's
just
a nest.
yeah. So I didn't know this beauty thing was,
Yeah.
I mean, so serious, you know.
know that.
Beauty is serious business.
I didn't know
But-
that incident with the Olympics. I didn't know that.
Yeah. The girl in front,
That's
she was lip
interesting.
syncing,
That's
and the
very
real singer
interesting.
was behind.
Just
Wow.
like when you had Martha Walsh and Black Box, remember that long time back?
yeah.
She was a singer. The song was a hit. Strike Me Up, yes. The song was a hit by a lady who sang it. It was also a heavy set lady.
Wow.
So you never saw her. They had like just some model
Front
type
to
person.
front.
Yeah. So back to a
Yeah,
little
but
bit
yeah,
more.
so this beautiful Caribbean black woman
I see you pull your hair
Thank
with that one, man.
oh God, decided she was going to enter Miss Trinidad and Tobago. Was it
Yes.
World or Universe?
World.
World.
Yes.
Okay, so take us through what that experience was like.
From which part? Because this could take all night. I
Well,
mean, but
You were
there's
talking about how you decided
there's
to
the
go.
part. Well, there's the part where you go up for the national leg
Yeah.
and you you win that part, and then
Right.
there's the part where you go to the international leg and you compete against all the other Miss Country representatives.
Right.
And
So tell us a little bit about the national leg. You know,
So
how was it
the-
interacting with other local Caribbean, beauties?
Beautiful woman.
that was
Smart.
pretty cool. That was vibesy.
So
that
love,
was
like love with around.
yeah, it was
yeah,
love. It was yeah,
No
it was
kind of
love. It was
intense
vibes.
competition.
No, it wasn't intense. It wasn't intense. It was vibes. It was around the middle of the year. That was 2009. So it was around the middle of the year, and there were 100 and something girls who went up.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And so we had to do a screening. It was one day on a Saturday. We had to do a screening. We all went, and I think probably a few weeks after they called the
Shortlisted.
they shortlisted it to about. I think they did 2 sets of shortlistings. I think they shortlisted it to about 30 or 20 something persons, and then they cut that down to the 12 persons who would be competing in the national leg at the pageant or the show, the competition
Right.
at Queen's Hall.
So that actual screening and then shortlisting, you're saying, well, intents and purposes wasn't too intense. It was, at least for you.
And in terms of the atmosphere, I mean, I was very invested, but I mean, in terms of the atmosphere and interacting with people, I think you're asking if people were catty or it's very competitive, but no, everybody was very nice and got along really well. And I think a lot of the people too, we knew each other because some of us would do fashion shows and we know each other from around different events socially, so it was pretty cool. It was
So-
camaraderie, and we were
circle
talking backstage and stuff.
So you used to do things before then. You were involved in
Yes,
in
well,
fashion and
at university I started to do fashion shows.
Okay.
I did Miss Universe pageant.
see you down there.
Yeah.
I did
So some serious training that's taking
Yeah,
place
but
with
you
this.
don't just go to Miss
Do you
World
have-
Trinidad and
Do you have a
Tobago.
coach? How it is? Like, if you want to play tennis, you have to play 6 days a week. Had to put in 5 hours a day.
Yes.
Do a lot of running.
But I do
and all
think
kind of
that
stuff. I'm
I-
sorry to compare it with sport.
No, but
is it similar?
but I think you're onto something, and I do think with anything, if you want to do it at a very high level, there is a program that you can follow, and there are people who can mentor you and guide you. So I think that you're very correct in that sense.
You have to put in your 10,000 hours according to
But you
Malcolm
didn't
Gladwell.
necessarily go
Yes.
that route.
I did. No, and I'm not sure that in Trinidad specifically that there
It's
is
that structured.
exactly like when you're in Venezuela or Colombia or these kinds of places. From probably 10 years old, they have these children in pageants and doing
Grooming
and
them.
training and performances, and I'm not sure that it's something that's so intensely programmed in Trinidad and Tobago. There are people who do those kinds of things, but I'm not sure that it's really ingrained.
We
in
are-
such
we-
a-
but-
But you
it's
said
not
some-
a programmed way here, but I did things that I knew were tied into that, starting in my teenage years.
Right, you mentioned that while you were at university, you did things like Miss Universe and
Yes.
so on. But I think one of the things that might be lost on us here is that you were at university.
Yes.
So, there's a sort of stereotype that we attach to ladies who enter pageants. And,
Yes.
What's your damn? I don't know about that.
What's your stereotype?
and that they're not the
Are you
brightest
speaking for all of us,
bulb
or
or the
we-
sharpest tool
Wow.
in the shed. And it's interesting. So let us know what is your educational background? What's your academic background?
I went to University of the West Indies, UE, and I studied biology.
So you're a
I went-
biologist.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
by degree, but not by
Not by
trade.
practice.
I totally understand. I have a degree in chemistry. And I can't tell you the last time I see a Bunsen burner.
Or pipette.
I wouldn't even remember the word pipette. I'm so impressed.
All right, so good. And what was the experience like at the actual international
Sorry.
leg?
If you don't mind, before
Yes.
you even get there, I'm
Yes.
curious. You did all this
Yes.
stuff before. I
Yes.
mean, like, what was your level of confidence when you walked in?
To
Did
the-
you
to the national one?
The national one. You looked
National
around
one?
and you're like, I got this.
It's
or-
all-
You know,
a
for the
kicks-
you
it's a
know
kicks
for the
and-
national
yeah.
one, honestly, I did feel very confident. And I think I felt very confident because I prepared a lot.
And you watch your opponents. You watch it. You may not know me.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It didn't have anything to do with the other people. It had to do with me and the level of preparation that I felt I put in, and just my
You can
feeling.
elaborate on the preparation.
Preparation. So,
No, I'm real curious to know.
no, okay, yeah, I know you're very interested in what goes into producing
background,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. So, what I actually did when I finished university that same year, I actually did this course with called House of Jackie. So, House of Jackie actually trains models in Trinidad and Tobago. She's been doing this for, it could be 30 years or more. So she's been doing this for a very long time, and what she specializes in is there's a large modeling component, but I'd also say it's almost like a finishing
school.
It's almost like a finishing school for girls. So it's about grooming and etiquette and deportment and all of that.
Yes.
And modeling is a big part of it as well. So she provides lots of models for fashion shows throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
Are you a member of the Miss World Trinidad and Tobago Association also?
I don't know that there is such an
Oh,
association.
well, so wait.
There-
The first
there
rule
isn't.
of Miss World Trinidad and Tobago Association is that you do not speak of Miss World Trinidad and Tobago Association. Is that what it is?
If that association exists, I'm not aware of it. I don't believe that there
So,
is.
yeah, well, it's your secretive. You see the ring she wearing? This is a
Let's start up association for everything. Bandits Association of Trinidad and Tobago. All kind of things.
No,
So you were
there's
well
a,
prepared.
yeah. So
So was there anything else besides the House of Jackie course? I mean, like
that was it. But
you didn't
that
have a
was
team
it.
that
But
would say, okay, Ashanna, let's hit you with some topics. Tell us, what do you feel about accepting refugees? And, they'd hit you with questions that would prepare you for...
No, but I did several fashion shows while I was at university. I did Miss Universe. When I finished that, I went on to do House of Jackie.
Right.
And the screening for the national pageant was really close to when that House of Jackie training ended.
Okay, so it's
And
fresh.
and I think I would have disclosed that that's what I was going up for near to the end. So they would have
So you're
given
peaked.
kind of pointers. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
the peak
exactly,
point, so
exactly.
you're ready for them.
Yes, it's not as though I finished the course and then it was 6 months after.
Yeah.
It's like I was in that mode already,
Right.
of modeling and presentation, and
Right.
and I did a lot of research myself in terms of, so there's a physical aspect,
Right.
which is about the
Physique
body,
and, yeah.
which is physique, which is how you present yourself, which is how you interact and engage. And then there's also the element of asking questions and intelligence, if you want to call it that.
Right.
So I felt there was the modeling component and then there was the intelligence component. And I did a lot of research in terms of, I got like a list of, I don't know how many questions, more than 200 questions. And I went through and I came up with answers.
On your own.
Yeah, on my own.
Right.
I think my mother may have helped as well, because by that point I would have told her, well, I want to go up for this.
Yeah.
And we came up with different answers. Not that you're going to repeat the answer just as how you
Verbatim.
prepare,
Yeah.
but it just gets your mind operating in a specific kind of way.
Yes.
So that was the preparation that went in.
Okay.
What about dieting? Did have that involved in this field?
Dieting is involved, yeah. Well, part of it is physical, so you want your body to look as amazing as it can. So going up to the national one, I suppose there are persons who would be so invested that they might even hire persons who have that experience, who might train them in that. I didn't.
Like a personal trainer. And
A
a
diet.
dietitian.
Yeah. So you could, if you have the
But,
means.
I'm so amazed by this thing. I never thought that
yeah,
this thing
go
was
and
so
work out
deep.
and-
But I'm actually comparing it with sports. You hear any questions?
No, but I agree
But
with your comparison.
In Trinidad and Tobago, where does this fall under a kind of ministry, or who will be running this? This is
Nada.
corporate TT?
Not one.
No, this is you. This is you.
Corporate tends to get involved once you've won the
One for
national
one.
leg.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so now you're going on to the international leg, and perhaps you need maybe a wardrobe
Yes.
or gifts, or I'm talking like if I went up
But
there.
this is really weird, because here what? Go anywhere in the world.
Yes.
The average man will tell you Trinidad and Tobago have the most beautiful women.
Yes.
Is that so?
Right?
What?
Beautiful. Well, look at you.
That's
Look
a-
at you.
that's a-
Look at Gizzy Jane. Look at you.
If I was a woman, look at me.
Of your color.
We need some sound effects.
Oh, sorry. Just to interject a
I
second.
also need a
I didn't realize this Bailey's a lashman sober. That's what happened.
Is that lashing you?
Yeah,
Yeah, but that baby
lashman.
station good and true, man.
Balance. Anyway.
As in you're not totally sober right
As
now.
in he's a
And how I'm
lightweight.
not fit, but I don't understand.
I had one,
I'm
yeah.
usually the first person to get drunk, so I'm very confused right now.
Yeah.
So-
Anyhow, back to
so I-
sorry. I reach.
Right, so we always hear that we have the most beautiful women in the world, this and that and that. And there's
Carnival on
no
Tuesday.
formal investment behind this after having how many you said?
Three from Trinidad.
Alone
And
from this
Tobago.
small island,
I think-
1.4 million people.
Something we're forgetting to mention, right? We have Carnival, right?
Yes.
And every year from September until January, February, it's all about fitness and diet. So I think for a lot of women in Trinidad, it's a natural part of their annual regime now.
Yeah, but I looking
We
at the
don't want
formality of
The
it. though.
fitness and diet, every year fitness and diet,
Well,
people
you
get
know-
into that for 4 or 5 months. So I think some people, we may be taking that for granted, that
Piggy.
people actually already have it in them a little bit, or they see it, you know, because he's speaking about so many beautiful women, but sometimes it could be a function of that. If we didn't have Carnival, you think we would have had
focus on their
that
body and
as
stuff.
much? Because every year for about 4 or 5 months, people focus on diet, and then the rest of the year they forget about
No,
it.
I think Carnival definitely amplifies the attention.
It just does seem to disagree.
I mean, I think the people that usually are, and I shudder even to thought of saying this, pageant worthy, tend to be people who are genetically blessed
Okay.
with slim physique, or some may have to work hard at it, or just work to maintain it.
Right.
But they're not necessarily the product of a consistent diet and exercise regimen, because I had to look good for Carnival, or I have to look good all year round, and then Carnival amplifies it, But I mean, I will say that maybe it does have an impact in just how many beautiful, in good shape,
Yeah.
looking women that they have in the country.
Yes.
But I don't think that it necessarily, has that significant of an impact on pageant beauties.
You want?
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
It's a Rum
No,
Club,
but
you know.
I see what you're talking about, Piggylou, and it's very. That's so funny. I'm trying to make a very articulate, smart point, and I end up saying Piggylou.
You're struggling to say that.
But it's not. I guess it's not such a straightforward issue in the sense that what you have is franchises. So Miss World, the person who would be, or the group of persons who would be in charge of putting on the competition to select a representative for each country is the group of persons that would own the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And that franchise then is in charge of a lot of the lobbying or a lot of the organization to make sure that the person has everything that they need, whether it be funds, whether it be
Wardrobe, gifts,
all
whatever.
of these things. So
Makeup,
it's a tie-in between, and most of the time the government is something that they're interested in, and they do get involved as well.
Subsidies
But
or
it's
something,
not just so it's a whole confluence of things that's come together.
Okay.
And then there's the Miss World franchise, and then there's the Miss Universe franchise.
And you have a couple other smaller franchises
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
I think it's something that, should be formalized. Seeing that the talent that we have, the small country that producing such beauties across the world.
Campaign for it, I support it.
No,
Yeah, but
I think so.
But the thing
I
is,
think the government support is always there. But because it is private enterprise, because it's whoever owns the franchise is charged with the responsibility of even doing the screening, getting the show together, right? So if you own the franchise, you pay money to get this franchise, right? It's up to you to make sure that you could reap some reward, some monetary reward
Yes.
from that. However, by putting on the show,
sponsorships.
doing up, filming something,
Yeah.
making sure you get your airtime on the television, whatever, right? However you choose to monetize it. But if you're lazy, You say, pay this money, boy, but or you pay money and you have the team or the infrastructure to pull off.
Or you're not aggressive.
Or you're not aggressive enough.
Yeah, that's
Because
no
the
small
government-
feat, eh?
It is not the government ain't going to buy the franchise.
No.
Unless you say you think
And then-
government should buy the
What I'm
franchise.
thinking about is just like it's a developmental program. Look how early in life she wanted to do
No,
this.
but
12 years old.
they have to also remember whether or not people have respect for beauty pageants, because that's another conversation also.
Well-
Some people don't see it as something valuable. They see it, oh God, that's a waste of time.
No, but to be honest, look at how easily we were able to call out Venezuela, Colombia.
Yeah, they are
India,
development
those-
program.
Exactly. And I think we're not too far from Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could model it. Look, 12 years old, she didn't say it.
Yes.
18 or 19.
You know what
she
would
I
be an
suppose-
interesting business
but I
case?
suppose-
An interesting business case would be when we had it, when Nicole Diagraph.
Yeah, when that's Miss Universe in Trinidad when Donald
Yes,
Trump
I
came.
find people real fight on Nicole, oh gosh.
Well, yeah.
I just want to know, like, how much did we get out of it from a financial?
That's what I was going
Yeah.
to say, and I think for a lot of things like this, where it's intangible. It's not something like oil where you can say, okay, we're selling 20 barrels, we're making 500 million US. It's not with sports. I think people
Yeah,
have a certain
sporting
level of
heroes.
respect for sporting heroes in Trinidad and Tobago, whether it be cricket, football,
But I think when they have that respect.
swimming. I think people have a level of respect for it. But even if you have to do a program for it, it becomes a little bit more nebulous in terms of if
Justifying.
people are putting things in that you want to say what's coming back in
Yes.
terms of returns.
Yes.
And sometimes just to say something, well, it's for the development of the people, not everybody feels that that's enough justification. You
And
know
it's
what I
hard
mean?
to quantify how much foreign
Exactly.
investment we got, how much exposure we got, how much
Exactly.
people came to Carnival because they find out about Brian Lara or because they found out about Wendy and say, hey, I want to go to that place. It's kind of hard to quantify. So, you know.
No, but it's just opportunity, yeah?
Well-
I looking at opportunity where you have, look, gymnastics wasn't a sport, but look how gymnastics became something. No, in Trinidad,
Are we campaign for this? Oh,
in Trinidad,
I'm backing
no,
you.
listen, just the little 36 minutes here we talking, I am so impressed with the information that came in. I didn't believe
We
I
haven't got time to get up because we're saying to speak about our experience.
Exactly.
And where was it? South Africa?
I'm feeling Piggylou's passion for this.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he would really
Right.
represent this well.
But we want to hear a little more about your experience when you're at the
Travels and
yeah,
stuff,
when you
yeah.
actually
Yes.
went.
Right.
So,
So
So
I
this
went.
is the international leg now.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was held in South Africa.
Right.
where was
So
it? Cape Town,
what year?
Joburg?
It was in
Durban?
Johannesburg.
Joburg?
So we went to England first, and then we went to Abu Dhabi, and then we went to South Africa, where things work out nice. So the show was in South Africa, and then coming back, we went back to Abu Dhabi, then England, then everybody went back to their respective countries. That one was about 5 weeks in total
Wow.
duration. Yeah, it was a good spread. And
A 5-week vacation?
yeah.
all expenses paid.
Whoa. I know, right now I'm
Over
working.
the rum.
No,
You
nah.
tasted any rum in this different
didn't.
parts of the world?
We didn't drink that much alcohol. If it was alcohol, it would have been wine or.
Nah, just playing, man.
But
It was Rum Club.
yeah, but now I'm working. I'm like, wow, I really wish I could get another 5-week vacation like that.
They
Paid
almost took it
for.
for granted. Eh?
I did. Not totally, but
Maybe you weren't able to appreciate it
Not
as
totally.
much.
I didn't take it for granted. But now looking back,
In hindsight.
in hindsight, I think everything takes on a different texture.
Right, yes.
So we were there for 5 weeks. I think in Johannesburg we were probably there for about a week or two, and I don't know. Ask me specific questions. That always helps me.
So you left TNT.
Yes.
You're brimming with confidence.
Oh, you have good questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
and then you land and you walk and talk to me
Yes.
about first impression and stuff
Right.
with the other contestants.
Yes.
Just like, what's going through your head?
I have to send my mind back many years now. Let me think. So the first when we went, it was England.
How long did you
I was
stay in
really
England?
excited. It was a week and some.
Why
in
did you say a
England.
week and some in England?
Well, we split between. I don't know why I'm not sure why the schedule was set up as it was.
Because the competition was actually in South Africa.
It was in South Africa,
Yeah.
but the Miss World organization is based in England.
Okay.
So probably that's the
okay.
headquarters. So
Ah,
it's
okay.
probably easy for them to coordinate a lot of things from
Okay.
there. So I was excited. I got picked up at the airport in a very nice car.
And what did you do? What did you
Who's
do?
the first foreign delegate that you met?
Can't remember that.
But what,
I can't remember that
did,
detail.
but what did you do in England? Is it that England they had a lot of
So in every
taping, photo
every,
shoots?
in every country, we had a schedule of events.
Okay.
So on most days, we had things that we were doing.
Okay.
Whether it be going to see some monument. So in England, we went to see popular monuments. Whether it's going to see a monument, whether it's going to a charity dinner where
Right.
we're auctioning things.
Right.
Whether it's a actual competition where they're scoring us towards the
Okay.
final competition. So every day we had something scheduled that was going on.
So what kind of competition? Because on TV they see evening gown swimwear question. Like what kind of competitions you all
We
had
had
to score?
a talent competition. We had the sports competition.
Yeah, really?
Yes. We
What's your
had
talent?
my talent was playing the piano, which actually wasn't a talent. I was very bad at it.
Wait,
Don't give no forward. Don't give no forward.
I say a biologist, a beauty queen, a penis.
No, if you had ever play, you would not give no forward. You would not give no forward because it was no lot. I did feel good about these sports
Well, you
because
didn't
I
play,
had
the
made
only
it.
tune that I know
I
how to
had-
play. Mary had a little.
No,
No, but what is your level of training in?
grade 4, I think, in piano, but I
But that's
can't even
pretty good.
remember.
Right, okay.
But no, it wasn't that impressive,
And
honestly.
you were saying
But I
on the
was
sports
impressed
side.
with myself for the sports side because I made it into the 12 finalists on the sports side.
Sport
so I
doing
was
what?
impressed. Well, the final of the sports was actually like an obstacle course and there were races. But to make it to the final, they did different challenges like aerobics. Challenges like sit-ups, you had to do how many ever sit-ups and they would time you, so whoever was the fastest
Okay.
and that kind of thing. So that one I was proud of. I was proud of that one.
Okay.
This thing real interesting. I don't know.
And this was all in London?
The sports was in South Africa.
Okay, and what did you do in Abu Dhabi then? How long did you stay in Abu
In
Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi, I just remember it was vibes. I don't remember doing anything. I don't remember doing anything.
So it have entertainment.
I don't
in this
remember
thing
doing
too.
anything productive in Abu Dhabi.
Hey, clubs.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi was just vibes in. We were at this what was the name of this? Gosh, I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it was a hotel where there's a racetrack right outside A1. What do you call it? F1?
Oh, yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
Right, there was.
Formula
I
One,
can't.
listen.
We have to Google this. I have to find the hotel, but there's a racetrack right outside. Just going to dinners, getting dressed up, fashion
Parties.
shows, modeling on the rooftop, just drinking.
Drinking.
People
Glam.
smoking. We're not supposed to be smoking, eh? People
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes. It's pure vibes.
Zabi.
Pure vibes.
You ain't taste any rum at all?
I've tasted of some, I'm sure, but I don't remember the details.
It's just
But I'm
vibes.
sure I
Can't
tasted rum.
remember.
It was just vibes.
You
It
can't
was
be up
just
in the
vibes.
clubs and
Yeah, it's just
rooftops
vibes.
and you're really
It's just vibes.
having
Yeah,
beverages
yeah.
now. You know?
Yeah, like just driving through, and Abu Dhabi was my favorite of the 3 places.
Yeah, because Abu
actually.
Dhabi is.
Derby, Linquina.
Do I be soon in Abu Dhabi, you know?
Must have a Derby rum.
No,
I would like
you
to.
know.
I would like to be on for that episode. just letting you all know.
It's a Muslim country, but
Exactly.
really said that. So all this time now, you're vibes and thing. No claws coming out, no sharp elbows. Everybody just happy.
There was some. There was some.
Love in the house?
There was some claws, not claws like we didn't try to do anything mean to each other, but what it was is more like there were certain persons who were more enjoying themselves, and there were certain persons who you could tell they were more intense about it.
But were they from some of the popular countries, the ones who were focused?
The
The ones, the beauty, like the Colombian
And
type?
almost
Yeah.
fake.
Which the Colombians
Who's
who went through the
the
program, like do you recall?
So it's like you might be there for fun, but
Let
they're there
but
for
they-
business.
Yeah.
Let me tell you
Right.
who was there for business. Dennis Williams.
Business.
Number one.
You do that. You do that. You do that.
Number one.
You don't tell me that.
It's always for business.
You do that. Tell me
But
that.
you don't know
She-
if she come back Venezuela and she ain't win, you don't know what Hugo would have do.
Nah, but you could tell
Investment.
too.
That's what
You could tell too with those countries that people put a lot of money and
Yes,
investment
yes,
into.
yes,
So you could tell the people feeling the pressure of not coming back without some kind of title.
Some kind of
You can tell.
accolades.
You're like,
But
hey,
you had to
there's
come
not
out
joking
with
business here. So
serious thing this.
That
Venezuela,
pressure, boy.
she didn't play. Puerto Rico, she didn't play.
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
I know Trinidad didn't play either.
Trinidad play.
It's a good thing they can't see my face. They can't see my face. It's just audio.
Can't see that expression.
Yeah. Ooh, let me see who I remember. Who else was really
But like Miss USA, the names you always hear.
nah, Miss USA. She was,
India.
India was intense. She was intense. Actually, like
Miss
5
Russia.
minutes away, 5 minutes ago, I have this story about Miss India, but I wanted. I don't tell this story,
Tell
but
us-
I know.
tell us after.
I know. I'll tell this. Yeah.
What you do? You can tell me this story, but tell me what
Don't
it's
call the
about.
names, yeah?
Yeah. Well, if I tell you this story, you're gonna know because you're gonna check it. But let me see it right. So Venice,
Elaborate.
Puerto Rico,
Oh, yeah, that story.
Colombia.
Mexico.
Mexico. Did we even have a Mexico boy? I can't remember if we had a Mexico, but I don't think she was that intense. Definitely Venezuela, definitely Puerto Rico. USA, nah, she was Lyman.
Colombia.
She was Lyman. Colombia. Trying to remember Colombia. Nah, she was Lyman.
Basically,
She was
yeah.
Lyman.
Russia.
India was a little intense.
Yeah, in the
Russia's been. I know Russia is here.
I don't know if we had a Miss Russia.
Mr. Tobago? Trinidad and Tobago.
Anyhow, so now we in this.
Miss Scotland was really intense as well. Miss
But
Scotland
is
was
that
very
right?
intense. Yeah.
But now we in South Africa.
Yeah.
And what was
Wait,
your?
what Miss Ireland in honor of the
Irish
Irish
Ireland.
beverage that we're drinking here?
I think we had Ireland, you know.
Must have
But
Irish.
she was
man.
She
intense.
had some Baileys and
I
things.
think we had a Miss Ireland, but I don't think she was intense.
Okay.
So what about Miss sorry, when you're in South Africa?
Yeah.
I mean, what was your schedule like in South Africa?
So we were there for 2 weeks and
So 5 weeks, only 2 weeks in South Africa.
yes,
Oh,
I
okay,
think
so that was
about
good.
about 2 weeks there, and then we went back to Abu Dhabi and then back to England
Right.
on the way back as well.
Okay.
So
Well, that's only 5 weeks.
yeah,
Oh.
so
Oh,
those
okay.
other weeks would have been split up
Yeah.
in those places on the way and then on the way back as well.
Gotcha.
So in South Africa, we may have been there for 2 weeks, and more of that would have been focused on some of the competitions where they were actually like scoring and
Yeah.
more focused on the competition. So we had swimsuit, we had the fitness, not fitness, but what do I call it?
Sports.
The sports.
Yeah.
And we actually started to more put things in place for the actual show. So we start doing rehearsals for the show and
So
that kind
where
of
do
thing.
they judge things like congeniality and most photogenic and all that kind of?
I don't know if we had those, you know.
You
I
had
know
those
we
things?
had, I think we had congeniality.
What's
I
congeniality?
don't remember if we had
Look it
photogenic.
up. Google it, as the kids say.
No, I wanted to hear it
I don't
from...
remember if we had photogenic.
Friendly, amicable,
Okay.
personable.
No, that's really for the listener, for some people who may not know what congeniality is.
Yeah, just gonna
But
make
it's
it.
not smart, yo.
Oh, sorry, my bad listeners, my bad. Sorry, all our listeners are PhDs and that kind of.
Yeah, but we definitely had swimsuit. We had swimsuit. We had talent. We had sports. We had. I think there was one that was similar to congeniality, but I'm not sure if it was called congeniality. We also had something called beauty with a purpose. So that was based on whoever had the most impressive project that they worked on in terms of giving towards a charitable cause.
okay.
Right. I think that still stands even
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And then they have costume, right? What was your costume like? Your national
No, we
costume?
didn't. Oh, yeah, costume. We did, but we had costume, but it wasn't a competition as much as
Oh, just
it was just a segment within the show.
The show
okay.
itself.
What was
Yeah.
your national costume?
So I had something
A
from
steel pan dress.
no,
Scarlet ibis. How did we hummingbird? Hummingbird.
No.
Hibiscus.
mine was less of a
A
costume.
bottle of rum.
Actually looked kind of like a bottle. It
Oh,
could have
for
been
real?
like a Bailey's. Nah. Mine was by actually Dexter Jennings, who's actually passed away now. But he was a local fashion designer, and he did this really interesting thing with a brass top with burlap and brown cotton and wire, and it's very interesting. But not the typical. I think not what I think you see popularly in Trinidad when we send delegates with, a butterfly or a bird. carnival costume. It was a little bit different.
So talking about costume for a second, you modeled K2K costume for K2K last year for 2016.
I did, OMG, did you see it? Did you
Yes.
like it? Did you love
I
it?
saw it.
Did you love it?
There was an angel fish, some fish.
The fighter fish.
Fighter fish, and yes,
Did you love it?
You're real expressive in that costume. I saw the fish in the costume, the way you movements and that sort of thing, you know.
Man, big up the Normans, man. Cathy and Karen, no flop.
Well, we gotta get about the subject, man. Okay, sorry, back to your costume in South Africa.
But no, she told us about the costume, and I'm just interested though to know what was your experience like, or did you get to experience any part of South Africa itself? The people, the culture, some of the iconic things that South Africa is known for.
Did you go from state to state?
You know, for me, in South Africa, I didn't feel. I don't know if I felt like it was such a big cultural experience. I mean, we did cultural things, but I felt, for me, my impression when I got there, and because we stayed in Johannesburg, and because a lot of our time was actually spent wherever we went in hotels.
Yeah.
It more felt like just being in a metropolis in any different country. So you see, there are highways and billboards and hotels. There were some specific things that we did. So we would have seen some of the dancers, and I can't remember where exactly it was. Sun City. It was near Sun City Hotel. So there would be some instances where there'd be a group of persons and they would do a dance that is indigenous to South Africa. And I do remember thinking when I saw them that is where I really related it to our whining.
Right.
But
you touched the motherland.
I did, but I didn't feel like it was motherlandish.
But did you go from? Because I remember speaking to you one time where you mentioned taking a flight in South Africa, going from one part of South Africa to somewhere.
I felt like I nearly died. That was horrible. Oh my gosh.
Why?
I think we all felt like we nearly died on that plane trip.
So it was a plane of all the delegates.
Yeah.
Right. How many delegates were there?
It was 112 of us that day.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you all were going from where to where?
That's a good question. We were in Port Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. We went to Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, and Johannesburg. Mm-hmm. I hope I'm not leaving anything out
So a private plane for 112 ladies.
I feel like there were other people on the plane. Maybe like 5 other people on the plane. Maybe there were 5 other people on the plane. But yeah, it's one of those inside the country. Domestic.
So you only go to the township.
Yeah, we did
go to townships. We did go to townships. We went to a park where there was a Nelson Mandela statue, which had to do with where he grew up. Yeah. And we did see some of the dances and
Sarafina.
And I remember speaking to someone who speaks Xhosa. That's what they call it. Xhosa.
But stepping back. Sorry, stepping back. You said though that you almost died. You didn't give us that story.
In the plane, but I did not like it. It wasn't any major malfunction. It was just intense turbulence, and I felt like that was the worst plane ride of my life. Up to this day, I think we all felt like we were gonna die, and we were all.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good story.
Yeah, we all gave a very rousing round of applause
when he landed safely.
Things cleared up. Yeah, that was rough.
Right, you're speaking about the language.
I think if you imagine, I think for a lot of people who imagine Africa, when you imagine something when you're there, it's actually very different. I think people might imagine Africa as I don't mean to kill people's dreams here, but I think people imagine it as a very cultural, rich, transformative, like you're going back to the motherland. I personally didn't feel like that.
South Africa specifically.
South Africa, which is where I felt like it was very
metropolitan.
I felt it was very metropolitan. I did think we got some samples of cultural things, like with the dancing and the
I think it's like people who have no clue about the Caribbean might think if I come to Trinidad, it's all beaches and sand and and we have built up. But if you dig a little deeper, we have a lot of rich culture and heritage and our people and so on.
And then it's showcased in very specific ways, So it's showcased at carnival time. It's showcased at
or it's showcased and you have to actually seek out experience.
Right, that's what I mean. So you have a heritage, you might have a heritage festival or specific arenas where that is showcased. But not that we all,
Because if you come to Trinidad, just stay in Port, stay at Hyatt.
Yeah.
You're in any major city anywhere in the world.
Yeah. So that I more felt that it was like that.
But when I went to school abroad, I lived with a lot of Africans, and they say Africa is really East Africa and West Africa, South and North have nothing to do with Africa, you know. Them say the real experience of Africa is the countries in the east and the countries in the west. So they don't really consider South Africa, North Africa.
But I know a lot of Ghanaians who Ghana yeah, but Ghana is a metropolitan country too.
Yeah, but he's saying that maybe you see a lot more culture in the metropolitan. Even though it's metropolitan, you still get a lot more culture.
Accra and Joburg very different. You know, the Africans say South Africa isn't really Africa. The Africans themselves say that. I mean, there are a variety of reasons for that, but we don't have to talk about that.
Well, but the funny thing is, when I was in South Africa, several persons they told me, you know, you look like us, which I don't know about that. I just say, okay. I just say, all right.
Hey, brother!
Alright, so tell us a little bit, what have you been doing since? So you represented. Unfortunately, you weren't able to bring back.
I know, right? So sad. So sad. Or maybe a blessing in disguise. We will never know.
What's the use for you, baby?
We will never know.
So what have you been up to since?
What have I been up to, boy? Just working.
But you have some passion projects that you've been working on.
Yeah, you know, I interview something similar to this. I interview on it's called The Extraordinary People. So I interview people.
Could you plug your socials, your website?
Yeah, so theextraordinarypeople.com is the website, and well, Instagram, Facebook, Ashanna Arthur, and yeah, you'll find me there. I'm starting to do a lot more interviews now. I think I'm gonna do one every week.
And what is the nature of the interviews? Are you interviewing as a particular type of people in the industry?
In the Extraordinary People, I interview persons who work in the creative fields in Trinidad and Tobago. So that would be fashion, film, music, just talking about their inspiration and the different projects they're working on and their different, what inspires them and what makes them extraordinary. But I actually think in the future I'm going to expand and to interview different kinds of people.
But what inspired you to do this anyhow? Why?
What to do to interview people?
To interview people and who are in this particular industry or field.
I just like it.
You have a passion for it?
It's just something that sparked my curiosity.
Do you find like maybe their stories are not being told enough and you think maybe you could help them spread their story?
No, I think for me it was more of I had an interest in doing something creative, but I wasn't sure what it was.
Right.
And then I took the angle of interviewing, which is something that I could do, and then merging it with the field that I had an interest in.
Okay.
And I think how it actually started is I interviewed this one lady called Yvonne Popplewell, and I'm in love with her. Okay. And I just thought she was so amazing that I just wanted to share her story. It wasn't a premeditated thing. I just thought she was so interesting, and I just thought she was the perfect model of. And by that time, she was she's like in her 60s or 70s, and I just thought that this is the perfect model of what a human being aspires to be and how they aspire to live a life. And she was it wasn't premeditated. I just thought, oh my gosh, I want to share her story because she's so amazing, and then it just evolved from there into interviewing people.
And then you still do some amount of modeling, because again I know you do some stuff with K2K, which
I mean, if if the price is right,
gotta eat.
Nice. That for us World Trinidad and Tobago, that you getting quality. It's quality again, everything else. That program, the idea this is like 12 in a house. 12 in a. It's 10 years now doing this.
That's so
pleasure
funny.
Was indeed ours. From that, were you shy?
Was I shy here or in general in life?
12 years old when you sat looking at Wendy.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say I was shy. I wouldn't say it as a major attribute of mine, no.
Okay. But from that 12-year-old looking at the television, seeing Wendy went to, becoming a biologist and then going on to pursue your childhood dreams of
chains. I was under chains when I was 12 too, just chains.
Chains
and illusions.
To becoming Miss Trinidad and Tobago world, to traveling the world, London, Abu Dhabi, South Africa, and back.
I feel like whenever I'm doing my interviews now, I want you to come and give that lovely introduction.
Right, and to make it, and here's to continuing to make a difference by interviewing icons,
seeing that
people who make a difference, yeah, and trying to impact Trinidad and Tobago and the world, one
Seeing
interview
that.
at a time.
Seeing that.
But
Oh my gosh,
but
I love that
but
intro.
just-
I love that.
that
Can I
outro.
have
But
that
just
here?
I mean, it's not like I know we're closing a little bit, but I hear two sides of Ashanna. I hear one time I hear, you know, very proper, and next thing I hear, vibes. I see that,
But she real, I
boy.
wanna say.
Ashanna, tell us about
You know
that.
what's funny? You know what's funny?
Yeah.
When I was at university, I had this really good friend. Well, he's still my friend, but he went away to study. He's now back. Big up Michael. Hey, Michael, shouting out on the poddy. His name is Michael Ironside, and we used to line a lot at UE. And he said he actually named 5, like you're saying 2, and he named 5 different
Ashanna
sides.
personalities.
Yeah, 5 different personalities. So he was like, you know, really proper, put together, very formal. That's Ashanna. And then as it breaks down, it goes to Shanna. And then Anna is when you start to get a little street. And then he said have na. That's when you know. You're walking on the street with a little limp. And then the last one is just
Well, on that note, let me take a
Right, so I mean, it's about the time of Cinco de Mayo. So
switching it up, right?
So we just take a small.
Hey, this is dangerous.
Ooh, that's
This
I hope that's too much.
is not dangerous. It's not
Be careful for
dangerous.
your own poison.
Folks,
We have some
do not
tequila,
try this at home.
some
Yeah.
Patron,
Baby,
because it's
baby.
As
rum
a matter
club.
of fact, you can try it home.
Try to do it.
Don't try
That's the best place to try it.
Yeah, don't try it nowhere else.
It's a dangerous podcast here.
I hope we don't lose this episode.
I actually think this has been too sober. I think in the future, you should try and ramp this up.
No, this is actually one of our more sober episodes because we
Okay.
just Baileys. I felt the Baileys a little bit, but usually like last episode we drink some serious rum.
That was a
Like
nice
almost a bottle of rum. So it depends on the episode
I
because
wish I was more drunk now.
So in advance, on
Scully, I find it Scully.
Scully, no,
Scully put that skull on me, yes.
Scully shot glass, have a sip.
Several drops.
Just-
That looking like you're taking cough syrup and you got a little bit to take.
Man, how to do?
He inhaling his own. Cheers.
Cheers.
Arrivo, abajo, and centro.
Cinco de
He's not gonna regret that.
No, but I really
Rum
am.
Club to the world. Jizzy G out.
Piggylou.
Shana.
Valley.
Skull man, this.
We out.
We out.
Peace.